Hey guys, it's Marcus and Leo from Big Time Super Friends, and this is our review of The Eyes of My Mother. Alright guys, the plot of this story is very simple and straightforward, but difficult to kind of go over. This movie revolves around Francisca, a character, and something bad happens to her as a kid that kind of affects her moving forward in her adult life for the negative.
Yeah, the way she interacts with the world, essentially.
I mean, right off the bat, would you classify this as a horror movie, per se? It has some horror elements to it, no doubt.
That's tough to say because generally in horror, it's not just what's happening in the movie. It's the sound, the music, the suspense, the build-up. There's really no suspense in this movie. It all just kind of unravels very, like it's supposed to. Like you anticipate it because the tone that's set from the beginning. Like
slowly and organically, it just happens to unveil itself.
Yeah, the way the movie starts off, and it dictates the pace of the rest of the movie. So I think that's why you're sort of not really surprised at how things happen, but you're definitely horrified at what's going on.
The thing that makes this movie so kind of stand out in my mind is what you're seeing.
It is shocking, though. You're seeing some shocking stuff.
I mean, I would say so. I mean, just the opening scene does set the pace and the tone for the rest of the movie. And, you know, when this this stranger approaches Francisca, the little girl, and you already know by the body language, the tone of the guy, something's off here. I think
even before you're even introduced to him, you get an angle from his point of view, walking up to the house, and you hear this laugh, this giggle. Yeah, and it's already it's just foreshadowing, you know? It's bad. It's already bad. It feels wrong.
Yeah, and it's so weird because this movie at least I can only speak for myself. It made me feel somewhat uncomfortable at times. You know, when the stranger, his character's name is actually Charlie. When the stranger asks to go to the bathroom, and you know something is wrong, you can't put your finger on it. You don't know, his intentions are not well. And
I think, though, his questions tell you the very nature that it's not a good thing, because anybody with common sense, if someone comes to your house and asks you these questions about, you know, hey, who's home?
Yeah.
And what time will everybody else be home? And are you alone?
Can I use your restroom?
Can I use your restroom? You know, it doesn't matter. The answer is no. There's a public restroom anywhere else. So already it's bad.
I mean, if I was the mom, I'd be like, dude, it's a farm. Pee out here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go over there behind that tree or something.
Yeah, it's probably miles before the next house anyway.
And they did such a good job because when Charlie enters the house, now we're only talking about the beginning of the movie still, the first 5-10 minutes at best. You know, I know something was turning to the bad when he's turned around and is like, can you show me where the bathroom is?
Yeah.
And I just I think anyone would know, okay, something is not right here.
Well, even before that, when he makes the comment about the observation of the husband not being home yet, is he usually late? Is this normal? You know, he's already kind of questioning, well, looks like nobody else is coming home, so I'm alone with you two. And
here's the weird thing. So what happens in this scene is Charlie, the character, kills Francisca's mom, right? We don't know if it was in front of her or not, but she's dead.
Yeah.
And just logically, right, you would think the husband comes home as all this is happening.
Right.
And first of all, the thing that stood out to me as a positive is there's this camera. The way they filmed the husband coming home was pretty great. There's this camera in the back seat, right, and it's showing him driving up from the overhead view, and the camera follows him from the drive all the way to him walking into the house, all the way to the bathroom. It's one continuous shot, and I was so impressed by that. But so the husband comes home, you automatically think, okay, he is going to kill this guy. Or the guy's going to kill him.
I didn't expect him to even do anything about it. I thought he was going to be in shock or something at the sight of what he sees.
And you know, he's an old man, so I just thought, okay, he's going to die too. You know, he's a younger, the killer's a younger guy. But anyways,
and he has a gun.
Yeah, and he has a gun. So long story short, the father knocks out Charlie, the killer, and he's dragging this body, Charlie's body, into the shed. It looks like a
Yeah, like a barn.
like a barn, right?
type of a thing, yeah.
You right off the bat, I thought, yeah, he's dead.
Oh yeah, because he stops making noise, and then they don't show you anything except
bloody.
for he's bloody, gets dragged into the barn, and that's it. That's what you think is the end.
And then it cuts to, by the way, this movie goes in like chapters. Like chapter 1 is called Mother, and it deals with the death of Francisca's mom. Chapter 2 is the father, or the murder. And so right after Charlie gets dragged into the barn, I would say 10 years pass by, maybe.
Well, I mean, the conversation with the little girl takes place.
Yeah.
Francisca.
Well, she's like an adult now.
Well, before that, she has that conversation with Charlie where she asks him, like, why did you do this? Why us? You've done this before. And you can tell that she's formulating her concept of what she thinks about this based on these questions, based on his response.
Yeah, and that scene was so eerie because, I mean, she's essentially making friends with the guy that killed her mom.
Yeah, but she definitely does get a revenge after she leaves that place. She doesn't leave him the same.
Yeah, and oh yeah. I mean, so here's the thing: you would think that you would kill. I mean, if it was me, I would fucking kill the guy, right? I mean, I wouldn't feed him. I mean, but the way they dealt with Charlie is so much more fucked up. I think.
Yeah, it's pretty macabre.
I mean, imagine you don't kill this guy, but instead you take out his fucking eyes, you take out his Adam's apple and his like throat box or whatnot, so he can't scream, he can't speak, he can't see anything.
His vocal cords are cut, so he can't talk.
And they leave him like that, like for years and years and years, and they feed him like rats and.
Who knows what else?
Like,
eventually, I think human meat.
Yeah, I mean, but
eventually,
that to me was like more fucked up than
it's pretty
anything.
Twisted. It's definitely, and the way it's so calm, there's no big fuss about it. It's just that's how it is.
Okay, and the thing is this woman is so fucked up. There's a lot of things that happen in this movie that I'm like, dude, that is like. I don't know what this bitch is weird. Like I was just
yeah, there's something definitely off about her. She's too calm. There's really not much reaction from her unless she's actually either talking to her mom, who she's definitely still mourning, and the dad, which you presume that he's dead because of natural causes or something.
I think the only line that the dad ever spoke was, "I need help with your mom."
Yeah, that's it.
That's it, right? So. Cut to the 10 years into the future or whatnot, like many years down the road, the dad finally dies.
Yeah.
You later find out that she killed her dad. Don't know how, don't know why.
It's weird.
Right, but she's keeping the body of the dad.
That's really one of the weirdest parts about the movie is the fact that you see that at least when you're shown that he's dead, you think he died naturally or something because she mourns him in a very calm manner, natural at times because she bathes him, which it might be a little too far, but I guess in salt cultures that could be acceptable. I mean, she is Portuguese. I'm not saying that the Portuguese do that, but she does wash him and she reclothes him, and then he just kind of lingers around. She keeps him around. She watches TV with him.
See, the thing is I would think that would be like normal, right?
Yeah.
If maybe he was the fucker is dead,
and he's been dead for some time.
Fucking dead.
Yeah.
She's washing the dead body, cuddling with him in the sofa, watching TV. I mean, I can't wrap my mind around someone doing that.
It gets a little uncomfortable at that point.
So she ends up, whatever, burying the dad, doing whatever is necessary, and. The guy, Charlie, that she's been holding in the barn for like 10 years or so. I don't know the exact years, but, definitely a lot of years have passed by. She brings him in after she loses her dad because she's lonely now. She's like, she doesn't have anyone. And I think that's her biggest fear in this movie is she doesn't want to be alone.
And she's clearly grown up just with her and her dad. That's the dynamic that she's had for possibly 10 to plus years.
And Charlie, for that matter.
Yeah, that's who she considers her only friend.
It's like Charlie and the guy that killed my mom.
Yeah.
I mean, my dad and Charlie, the guy that killed my mom. And so, as if that's not weird enough, okay? As if that's not weird enough, she brings Charlie into the house after the dad dies, washes him, and then fucks him. Now,
That's
why do you...
pretty twisted, man.
I mean, she's doing it with the guy that killed the mom,
Look,
bro.
She's kinky, okay? That's the best explanation.
I mean,
she's
really kinky. She's fucked up.
Let me get that number. I want to meet her. Oh, she might not be available, actually.
I think she actually slept with the guy because I think she was trying to get pregnant.
Well, ooh.
That's why she was doing it, because she didn't want to be alone.
I didn't think about it like that, but that's pretty twisted.
Yeah. So, the only reason why I feel that way is because towards the third act of the movie, she, kidnaps the boy.
That's a pretty twisted concept.
Yeah.
Like, she's that lonely, so she wants to get impregnated by the guy that murdered her mom.
Who she's been torturing for years.
Feeding. And nursing, literally, because she healed him after the dad beat his ass up.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, dude. Like, this movie, I haven't seen a movie like this ever. And I've seen some pretty fucked up movies.
It's, again, some of the things that happen in this movie are not shocking, but it's just really twisted stuff, like fucking the guy that killed her mom.
Yeah, and so when they end up fucking, right? First of all, you don't see the sex scene itself, but you do see her tits and her.
She undresses
down there. She undresses, and you see the whole bush. After they do that, he starts fucking trying to sneak away.
Yeah, you guys, he tries to escape, and that's the weird part because she wakes up and you think she's like stroking the empty, the empty part, the empty spot next, of
the bedroom,
the empty bed. Okay, somebody was maybe there, but you think
dad.
The dad. So you think it's normal. She's stroking the bed, and then they cut to the scene of this window, and you see the guy Charlie walking up the hill, and she eventually makes her way to him, which is
it's
weird.
So fucked up too because imagine imagine you're a killer like Charlie, but imagine you made a mistake or you can't even feel sorry for Charlie, really, right?
But I kind of do.
I kind of do,
man.
That's what makes
that's the weird part.
Yeah, it's like you feel bad for the killer.
I thought that's actually weird that you felt that way too, because I was like, why am I feeling compassion for this guy at this moment? I mean, the next thing that happens is, look, it's deserved. Okay, obviously we're trying to be reasonable humans here.
I don't know that much.
He should have been turned in, but God, like the fact that she hugs him and then shanks him, man.
Yeah, and it's so weird because normally in horror movies or in any type of slasher movie, you see the stab and the music's going on, or there's some definite some sound effects or some screams going on. But in this case, there is no screams. There's just a.
Yeah, you hear the mushy knife going into the flesh.
Repeatedly. She's stabbing him repeatedly, right? As she's hugging him.
Right.
And kissing him.
Yeah.
Right? And there's no music. There's just some eerie sound effects, very minute sound effects. And that I was just like, I almost felt like clapping because it was one of those I've never seen it done that way.
The thing about that scene too is the line she says to the guy. This is the same thing he said to her, right? She questions him. The last question she asked him as a child, she says, "Why did you do it?" And he says, "Because it feels amazing. It feels fantastic," right? So when she's stabbing him, she finishes stabbing him, and she says, "You're right. It feels fantastic."
Yeah,
it's like. Yeah, you're right. She tried to find that feeling because that's the only thing she could maybe feel.
And one thing I really like about this movie is they hold the shot.
Yeah,
they're
for
not.
A long time.
They don't fucking cut away, and it's a very impactful kind of thing. It lets the viewer absorb everything, take everything in.
She's also empowering in that moment.
Yeah, and so which leads us to the third act a little bit. She did the worst thing I think anyone could do. I mean, torturing your mom's killer is one thing, right? But then she hitchhikes a ride with a woman and her newborn baby, Antonio, and at the end of the hitchhike, she asked the mom if she could hold the baby.
Which is already weird. Like, no, you can't hold my baby.
Yeah.
You need to get the fuck out of my car. I gotta get the fuck out of here.
Not to mention, we already know how fucked up she is, so you naturally are like, don't do it.
Yeah, you're having this, like, inner dialogue where you say to yourself, she's gonna take that baby. Or she's gonna kill the baby. I thought she was gonna kill
I thought she was gonna kill the baby,
right off
too.
the bat, like, maybe right in front of the mom.
But then, she pretty much says, thank you for this lovely gift.
In Portuguese.
And then runs off with the kid.
Oh, yeah, into the house.
The mom is chasing after her, trying to catch her kid, right? And she goes upstairs where she's hearing her kid cry, her newborn cry. She runs up the steps, opens the door, and the kid is on the bed. Francisca comes from behind, stabs her, and then the shot holds.
Right.
The shot doesn't move. It's showing from outside the room looking in. And the reason why I like this shot so much is because it forces you... It's an extremely long shot, like 20 seconds long, right? And it's showing the mom on the floor with the knife on her back, Francisca walking up slowly to the bed, picking up the kid, and talking like sweetly to the kid.
And this whole time the mom is still with the knife in her back, crawling to her feet to try to get the baby back, maybe.
I mean...
It's good. Look, it's good filmmaking. Okay, one of the things I took a basic film class, and one of those things they taught you is that holding a frame, holding a shot, is very powerful if you can do it right. They use that element a lot in this movie, and it's very effective.
That's what impresses me the most about this movie, dude. The look, the tone, the actual story. I mean, the story isn't complex, right?
It's very simple,
but
simple idea.
It's just what it does to your mind, what it did to my mind the first time I saw it was like, I walked away kind of like, this is so fucked up. Like, this is so fucked up.
It's a pretty sad story. I mean, even the fact that, like, she went through that terrifying experience of her mom getting killed, and then, the dad doesn't even react. He's just like a stone. He doesn't really do anything, and he maybe beats him up to get sort of a revenge about the mom. But then she gets older, and the fact that she takes on that same mentality that the guy Charlie did, she and kills beyond, I would say. Maybe, I don't know, to sort of like to get some sort of herself back. It's pretty weird. There's a lot of questions that this movie definitely brings up.
There's a lot of these scenes that we're mentioning. They're all disturbing, right? And there's a couple that we haven't even mentioned yet, but another one that we just haven't brought up is, at one point or another, she's struggling with. She wants her mom's advice and her mom to help her. Her dead mom, by the way, to help her. So she goes up to the grave, and she digs up her mom's skeleton, and is hugging her.
That's a pretty
caressing
weird
her.
Scene.
And talking to her, and I'm just like, dude, like that is
at this point, I'm
up.
asking myself, is that normal?
There's no fucking
no. I'm still trying to look. The movie does such a good job of making you feel like this is totally normal. At least I felt that way. A lot of the stuff that happened in this movie sort of feels like it should be taking place in this movie, which is that's a weird thing about it, is that it definitely successfully makes you feel calm about everything that's happening. At least I felt calm about it.
Now, let's just cut to the chase. The good, the bad, and the rating. I'm curious to hear yours first, because...
it's a very quiet movie. There's no soundtrack to it, really, except for, like, when someone's listening to music in a car, or the bar scene.
There was one song, by the way, speaking of the soundtrack, when she was dancing in the living room for her dead dad.
Oh, man. That was weird, because she dances to that song with her dad as a child anyway, so... The fact that he's dead and she's doing it in front of him is pretty sick. But I'm gonna give it a B. It's a good solid movie. I think it's a great date movie because it's got some weird stuff in it, but also just by yourself. It's not that terrifying where you're gonna have nightmares. At least I don't think I'm gonna have nightmares. Hope not when I go to sleep. But it's definitely it's sick. It's twisted. It's a great story from start to finish, and so I give it a B.
So for me, the good thing is I love the way it was shot. There was a lot of shots that were a single take, steady cam shots, a stationary aerial shots, which I found very, very just like, wow. The pacing of it was good. The fact that it was black and white. I love the fact that it was at parts subtitled. Mm-hmm. I love the fact that I didn't get not one jump scare. The entire thing, not one jump scare. They didn't rely on music or sound effects to get a rise out of you.
Cheap thrills.
Yeah, it was literally what you're seeing is fucked up enough to it's going to affect you at whether it be a minute level or big level. The bad thing is I could definitely see how if you're not used to the single take or the long takes, the fast cutting, if you like that kind of stuff, this is not the movie for you. And you know, for a lot of people, they're gonna think that it's kind of a too slow of a pace for them.
Sure.
But for me, I enjoy all those kind of let me soak it in moments. Let me absorb everything I can. So as far as a horror film is concerned, I'm gonna give this a B plus. And I'll be happy with it. I almost want to. I was so close to saying A minus, but a B plus. I would have given it an A if they showed me the resolution at the end.
Yeah, I agree with that. But actually, I didn't mind that ending. I thought it was a good, solid ending to the entire movie overall.
But anyways, guys, if you like this content, please like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Or not.